Hello everyone and welcome. It's Shanna. I'm so glad you're here today. Now we're on day 15 of our Advent calendar, and so we're just going to open it up and see what we've got inside of there. Looks like we've got a fishbowl with water and some bubbles and a fish. It kind of looks like, I can't remember what that fish was my kids had as a when they were home. I can't remember the name of the fish, but it kind of looks like this type of fish. Anyway, it's one that you keep in the fishbowl all by itself because it will not swim well with others. If you can think of the name of the fish, comment below in the comment box and let me know because it escapes me at the moment. Anyway, so we've got our fishbowl, we've got our water with 3 bubbles, and then we have got the fish, and then we have some elements to adorn the fish. Basically, we've got an extra die that has the body of the fish where you can add a different color, and then it has the piece on it that goes behind the face of the fish that will fill in the eye, and it just goes behind there. I'm having a hard time grabbing it, but that just fits right in behind the fish's eye, so you don't have to worry about putting a piece of scrap paper behind there. So I'm just going to go off camera, figure out what I'm going to do, and come back. So I've decided to do one of my DIY color pack. I have the holiday add-on set there, and it's this right here, and it gives you some colors to go by. This is a purple Christmas one, but I've kind of got some colors, my cardstock from Spellbinders lined up on there, and I've chosen to use some of these for this card just so that it would give me an idea of what colors to put together. I've had some comments in my comment box, people talking about putting colors together, and if you need some ideas, this is a way to do it. So it's called DIY Color Deck, I think is what it's called from Spellbinders. This particular set is the holiday add-on extension, but you can get the deck and then the add-ons. You can just pick up the add-ons if you want, and they're not quite as expensive as the full deck, but I get a lot of use out of them, get a lot of color ideas from them. So I'm putting some glue on the kind of the decorative body elements of the fish there. I've already got one of them assembled. I went ahead and assembled the one that's going to go on my storage package just so it wouldn't be redundant and it would help save time on the video. And then we're just going to get this one laid down on there. And I am still trying to think of that type of fish. Anyway, so I am going to put this little back piece on the back of the face, and it will fill in that eye. And you need your tweezers for this because these are some little bitty bits, and then just line it up. It's going to run away from me, and give it a little push and get it attached. And then if you don't get it exactly right, just take your fingers and move it to where you get it lined up nice and neat where it belongs. And it fits just nicely behind there. So we've got both of our fish, and then we've got our water here. I did some other die cutting, and I had a little purple piece there, but we've got your bubbles. Now you could piece your bubbles back in and put some foam on there and kind of make them dimensional if you wanted to, or you could color them a different color and then just glue them back in there if you want. I'm going to put a backer sheet on it. I'm just going to cut a little piece of cardstock and put it behind the bubbles just to make my bubbles be a little bit of a different color. And I am just going to line this up. It looks like I took that glue and wiped it off of my sweater, but I didn't. There's actually a towel just on the other side of my arm, and every time I touch the glue with my fingers, I stick my hand over there and clean it off. But I noticed when I was doing this voiceover, it actually looked like I rubbed it right on my sweater. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with this fishbowl. This is going to be for our packaging. And then we'll have all of our elements. So basically you had, let's see, just 1, 2, 3, 4 dies in this set. And I think it's a cute little add-on to your, your stash. And for those of you that play along with Craft Roulette, they always have some crazy parameters. And some of the things that are included in this kit would really help you to be able to meet the parameters of, Craft Roulette. So I'm just going to mention that. because you might just have a worm pop up or a snake. Now, I did have some feedback that people questioned me whether yesterday's make was a worm or a snake, and I don't know. I suppose it could be either. I thought the face of it was so cute, I wanted to call it a worm. And I did it in brown, so it looked much like a worm. I suppose if you did it in green or black or red or something like that, it could certainly be a snake. I just thought the face was so cute that I thought it was a worm. So you let me know if you thought it was a snake rather than a worm. I'd be interested in hearing that. So this little piece that I had, it's just a scrap piece, was too big, so I'm just trimming it down, and I'm going to give it a push down on there. So, I'm usually working with these things firsthand, and because this Advent calendar is a surprise to me, I am not looking at other creators' videos of it in advance of me doing this because I don't want to run my surprise. So there may be different ways to assemble things, and some creators may be calling it a snake as where I'm referring to it as a worm. But it's because I guess that's my first glance at it without kind of spoiling my surprise, because this is a little gift to me every day that I'm looking at, and I just think it's super fun. So I'm trying to clean up some glue there and just not make a mess on my little fishbowl. I'll try to remember to link the colors of the cardstock in the description box below. I have been doing that daily with a link to it. I am using Spellbinders cardstock, but and I have added my pick up tool to the video description as well, because I've had a couple people ask about that. So I did add it along with some of my other tools. And I also wanted to mention that you can still get the Advent calendar at scrapbook.com. Spellbinders is currently sold out, but as I looked right before I did this voiceover, and scrapbook.com still has it available. So I have added that link to the description box. So if you haven't picked up the Advent calendar and you still want it, looks like you can pick it up at scrapbook.com for a certain period of time. Now I'm bringing in embossing folder of the month. I think it said August 2025. And we've got seaweed and bubbles in here. And I've die cut the center out. I used the kind of the backer piece for the words on our stamp set, and I die cut it out because we're going to bring in our stamp set sentiment, because I had the other day when I was making them, I die cut out several of them so that I would have them just to add on to these cards as we move along for sentiments, because I'm trying to keep reintroducing different elements from the Advent calendar so that you can just see how you can kind of mix and match them and put different things together. And I'm having a hard time getting this lined up, but I think I've got it. Now, I'm going to bring in this white panel. I had two of these I had cut them out of other things, and they're laying in my stash, already die cut out, and so I decided that we would use them. And so then I just took the next step up. It's a stitched rectangle, and I'm going to layer it behind there. We're going to have a big frame around that so that you'll be able to see a good bit amount of that embossed detail on that back panel. And we'll just layer these two up. And this is going to be the landing zone for our focal point. You may notice I had a wardrobe change between opening, and this is the bell and bow scallop stitch frame. And I keep using the same ones kind of over and over on the videos. There are a couple of my favorites, but you can use anything you've got in your stash for that if you have any kind of nested die sets. I love to use them because I think the more layers, the more interesting the card is, and so I like to pull them in. The wardrobe change. So I kind of got derailed between opening the box up and then getting to assemble the elements of the day. So that's why you'll probably notice a wardrobe change. But I got back to it, and we're going to get this done, and we'll get it loaded in time so that you guys can see day 15. So I've just got 3 strips of foam tape on there. I'm going to try and line it up straight. And then we're going to get to laying our elements down on there. So I'm just looking for my reverse tweezers. Got them, and we're just gonna, I'm cleaning up. Sometimes you get some little die cut hairs on there, and I'm just rubbing my tweezers across there and loosening them up and then brushing them off my panel because they're kind of falling down on there. Just kind of cleaning that up and getting them out of the way. And now we're ready to just get this glued down on there. I think it's a fun color scheme. It's got a variety of colors in it, and it makes it interesting. Now, I think I probably showed, and I didn't say this in the beginning. I had die cut these out in vellum too, and was thinking about using vellum for the fishbowl, but then I decided I wanted to bring in that color. I'm not sure if I said that or not. I may be repeating myself, but just blot off some of that glue and then wipe it off and lay it down. And I'm just showing you, I've chosen some of the colors from this color chart to kind of pull them together. I think really the only thing I didn't use was the yellow, and then I don't know if that's black or a dark blue that's on the very bottom, but anyway, I think it's helpful to have some color cues every once in a while. So I clustered some of the flowers that came in the Advent calendar earlier, and we're just going to get them laid down on there and fill up some space. It just brings in some more of that color, fills up the white space. Now this is the piece I die cut out of that bottom panel, and I've got a thank you sentiment, and we always need thank you cards. So I thought it'd be fun to add that. And we'll just get some glue laid down on here, clean it up a bit, and press it down. And we've got a thank you sentiment. And I'm just going to fill up the rest of that white space there. I'm looking at it thinking, have I got this on there straight? So I'm going to grab just a tiny little bit of some foam tape and put it on that edge that's going to hang past those 2 layers of panels. And then we'll throw some glue down on there, and we'll keep that from sagging. Last night we had a birthday party at my house for my dad. I think I mistakenly said he was 87, but he actually turned 86 this year. And we had a pizza party, and we had cake, and we played games and everything, and had a nice evening with him. So that was fun. Now I decided to go ahead and bring in some of those sequins that were included in the kit, and I've got them in my triangle tray there. And I'm just going to use my pickup tool and get them laid down on there. And I'm telling you that I'm linking this tool in the description box. I think that's why I pointed at it. And I'm going to grab some of the little ones and just lay them down on there. And I'm going to put 2 up there, give them a little press, and then we'll put 1 more down there by our floral element, and that'll just kind of fill in some of the white space and add a little sparkle to our card. And I think it's a cute little card. It's a fun little element to have in your stash. So there we go. You can see that embossed detail as well. Now I thought about using one of the embossing folders, but I thought I've been using them a bunch, and I can just bring in another one for my stash. So I'm just going to get my little fish tank laid down here on my coin packages. Now these coin packages I just picked up at Amazon. And I would suggest if you do something like this, get one that has a variety of sizes, because for the bigger elements, I've been making my own little folder. Now I've got the 15, and I said previously that I die cut them all out in red and green, and I probably should have done white so that they would match with whatever colors I've chosen for my card for the day. And for this one, I'm actually going to bring in a marker and color those red numbers in so that they don't clash with what I've got going on here. However, it'll wind up being a little bit darker than what I had desired, but we'll just take a pause. I'll grab some markers, and we're going to color these up. What I did was I grabbed just my little plastic thing, my little shield to protect my desk, and I've got my Tri-Blend purple marker, and because it's going on red, it's looking a bit darker than what I intended, but I still think it looks better than what the red would have looked on there. So I'm just going to keep coloring and cover up that red, and we'll just use that, and then our numbers will kind of blend a little bit better than if they were that red. I'm just showing you it's a purple blend. And I decided that it kind of dried back, and so I decided to go ahead and add an extra layer to it. Those markers, will dry back a little bit. So there we go. So we're going to get this 15 laid down on here. And we've got our little envelope packet ready to go. Now I tried to bring in, I couldn't find the little packet that this came out of because of the derailment. I tried a bigger one, and then I just decided to slide them in there without the envelope that they came in, but then I found it and everything fit in there nicely. So thanks for watching. Here's a picture of the card. I think it turned out fun. I hope you like it. If you did, hit that like button. Thanks for watching.